there, welcome into the show. This is the San Francisco 49ers Report. My name is Chase Sr. Thank you so much for supporting the show and making today's 49ers Report a part of your day. Coming up, a Day 2 training camp reaction. There is so much to talk about, so much to discuss. There was the play of camp so far. Who made it? We'll talk about that here in just a moment. Brock Purdy very sharp on the second day of Niners practice. Mac Jones balled out for the Niners today in Santa Clara. This running back room, led by Christian McCaffrey, looking really good. And, of course, we'll talk Niners roster battles as well. But topic number one, the play of Niners training camp, and it's being talked about as one of the best plays over the last few years throughout Niners training camp by people who cover this team very closely. Mac Jones, former Alabama quarterback, who started off his NFL career with the Patriots. Then he went to the Jags, signed with the Niners. Kyle Shanahan really thought long and hard about drafting him over Trey Lance in the 2021 NFL Draft, signed with the Niners as a backup this offseason. And the jump from Brandon Allen and Joshua Dobbs to Mac Jones, I think, is a sizable one. I think that at some point down the road, once Mac Jones gets his confidence back, he was a Pro Bowler as a rookie, he could maybe be a fringe starter in this league. For him to be a backup, fitting Kyle Shanahan's scheme well, playing point guard, distributing the ball, making quick decisions, I like that addition this offseason. And throughout the spring, there were highs and lows to what he was doing, trying to get acclimated with Shanahan's offense. He made some nice throws. He made some mistakes. Today, though, he uncorked a 50-yard pass way downfield to UDFA wide receiver Isaiah Neyor, who physically and with one play in the spring turned a lot of heads. And Neyor made a sprawling acrobatic grab in triple coverage. Not only was it a great throw from Mac Jones downfield, it was a great contested catch in traffic by Neyor. And with all of the question marks that the 49ers have at the wide receiver position, young players here at that spot have an opportunity to seize the moment. Isaiah Neyor, Tariq Owens, Jordan Watkins, and Jacob Cowing once he can get healthy. And Neyor is a very interesting player. Throughout the spring, his length, his size, his speed, his physicality, his athleticism impressed a lot of people. He stands out as one of those players who, when they walk off the bus, you say, that looks like an NFL player. And throughout the spring, he impressed people so much that George Kittle went on the Bussin' with the Boys podcast with Will Compton and Taylor Lewan and said, this Isaiah Neyor kid, the UDFA out of Nebraska, he can play. He's a freak. He took up 10 yards with 2 strides. He should at least be on the practice squad. And his story is certainly an interesting one. A 3-star recruit in high school coming out of Texas. He went the FCS route and played at Wyoming, same college that Josh Allen played at. Is Wyoming FCS? I believe it is. Then he transferred to Texas after a really good year 1 with the Wyoming Cowboys. Didn't do anything with the Longhorns. In the spring practice and the spring game for the Longhorns, he caught a long ball from Quinn Ewers, who got drafted this year by the Miami Dolphins. But after that, he didn't make his impact felt in the regular season. Then he transferred to Nebraska. But outside of that one season at Wyoming, he never really fully put it together. But he is really tall, 6'4", around 220 pounds. He runs a 4.4 flat, 40-yard dash. He only had 2 college seasons of 10-plus catches. He's a great tester and athlete with size, but my scouting notes on him coming out of college looks like Tarzan, sometimes plays like Jane. There's no reason that a guy this gifted should have had a college career in which he only had 2 years of 10-plus catches. But my goodness, could he end up being a hidden gem for the Niners. In the pre-draft, earned a relative athletic score of 9.9, nearly perfect. A lot of green here, 6'4", 218, 38-inch vert, 11-foot broad jump, the 4.4 flat, 40-yard dash, very good on the 20-yard split as well. So Isaiah Neyor continues to be a name who we must remember and keep an eye out on. As for Brock Purdy was very sharp on day 2 of Niners training camp. 13 of 14 completions to attempts, and he was decisive. He was going through his reads. He was spreading the ball out, uncorked another long ball, throwing with touch and accuracy. And with Trent Williams and Christian McCaffrey on the field, Brock Purdy looked comfortable. He looked decisive. He looked like the player who we saw a couple of years ago, right? Not the player last year who was dealing with all of that lack of stability offensively because the Niners were the second most injured offense in the NFL and players were just in and out of the lineup at all times. And Purdy has made a couple of really nice plays so far. On Wednesday, he hit George Kittle on a bomb downfield. First play of training camp, he took the top off of the defense. And on Thursday, he hit Kittle again on a back-footed dime. The Purdy to Kittle connection has been alive and well to kick off Niners training camp. And with the trade of Debo, with the issues at wide receiver, George Kittle is the number one option in this pass game. And if he can stay healthy, he still has it. He still has a lot of juice. I think that he could have a very productive season. And it's my hope that Kyle Shanahan uses him more in the pass game, less as a blocker. And I also think the addition of Luke Farrell can help out that as well. As for Mac Jones, have yourself a day, kid. He had the completion to Isaiah Neyor on the deep ball. He had another chunk play to Jawan Jennings. And he was picking apart this Niners defense and Niners secondary, making really nice throws all around the field. And I know that Mac Jones has kind of become a meme, and people take him lightly and don't take him seriously as an NFL player. I know that he was also on that Alabama team that won the Natty in 2020. That was one of the best college football teams of all time, and he had so many weapons to throw to. But I liked him coming out of Alabama as a scheme fit for Kyle Shanahan because he can play point guard, distribute the ball, makes quick decisions when he's playing confident. That brain is firing on all cylinders, and he can really just distribute the ball all around the field and run Kyle Shanahan's scheme. Now, I didn't want the Niners to draft him because of the athletic limitations, and he had a clear ceiling. But in college, he had the most completions among all quarterbacks that year. His completion rate, number one among quarterbacks at 77.4%. He threw for 4,500 yards, 41 touchdowns, 4 picks. 11.2 yards per attempt led the country. Average yards or air yards per attempt led the country at 12.79. So he was pushing the ball downfield. Yards per completion at 14.5, and his rating was 203.1. Different scale for college football, but all of those numbers outside of the touchdowns and picks, number one among quarterbacks in college football. So Mac Jones can play, and we're not talking about him being a starter. We're talking about him being a backup for this team. And it's an upgrade to go from Brandon Allen and Joshua Dobbs to Mac Jones. He is not going to carve you with his legs, and he's not going to hurt you with his feet. He doesn't have running ability. He is a statue in that pocket. But throwing from the pocket, there is untapped ability there, and we have seen Kyle Shanahan develop the likes of C.J. Beathard, Nick Mullins, maximize Jimmy Garoppolo. He's developed Brock Purdy very well. I'm excited to see what he can do with Mac Jones. With that being said, an early concern in Niners training camp is the secondary. And I have talked about this a lot. The Niners are very thin at the cornerback spot. If Renardo Green or Deommodore Lenoir got hurt, the Niners are kind of screwed at corner. You have Upton Stout as a rookie, but he's a slot guy. Trey Brown's a former fourth-round pick who yesterday practiced well, but he's been hurt and didn't earn roles in his respective seasons with Seattle. You have Darrell Luter Jr., who is a good athlete. He's big, physical, and he can run, but he hasn't done anything up to this point in his career. Saran Neal is more of a special teams player. There is not a lot of depth in that secondary. And then Robert Saleh adding today, the competition at safety is wide open. Anybody can win that job. So Jair Brown, he is not a bona fide starter. Jason Pinnock, Richie Grant, they have opportunities there. Marquis Siegel has an opportunity there. Now, some of you might be saying, well, Chase, what about Malik Mustafa? He's hurt, coming off that ACL injury. So he's going to be a starter when he's healthy and when he comes back. But outside of that, going into week one, that is a competition that's wide open. And so far, the secondary struggling to start training camp. It might not be good, which is why this Niners defensive line is going to have to generate a pass rush this year. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, by the way. for Niners news, analysis, updates, and reactions from yours truly right here on the 49ers Report. Lock us in, join the movement, and hit that subscribe button. I also want to mention this deal, thanks to our fine friends at Fanatics. This Niners cutoff hoodie, they're getting sold like crazy. They were $55, now on sale for just $33. All you have to do, use that link down below, chatsports.com/49ers cutoff. That'll take you to Fanatics. Fanatics will know that the 49ers Report, Chase Sr. and Chat Sports sent you. Going to put that link in the show notes attached to the pinned comment, and it is already in the comment section of our live show here today. Let's talk about this Niners running back situation. How happy and healthy does Christian McCaffrey look as compared to last year where he could not shake the bilateral Achilles tendonitis? And then in the snow against Buffalo, you're like, CMC, looking like himself. Then he gets the shoestring tackle, falls on his knee, and suffered that knee injury, which cost him more time on top of only playing 4 games last year. So coming off winning Offensive Player of the Year in 2023, it was a disaster of a year for McCaffrey. The Madden curse hit. He only had 4 games in which he played, 0 touchdowns. But to start training camp, Christian McCaffrey looks really good. He looks like himself. And if the Niners can get even close to the 2023 version of McCaffrey, it will do wonders for this offense in pass protection, running the ball, catching the ball, him being used as a weapon and a decoy. He looks spry, quick, explosive, most importantly, healthy. And he has really helped to turn around and at least add a special element to Kyle Shanahan's offense. When Shanahan has had CMC, the production of this offense has been very elite. And then there's Isaac Guerendo, who is 220 pounds and runs 4.3. He's growing. He's improving. Jordan James has been one of the biggest winners of training camp so far. He's turning heads, contact balance, runs with physicality, did not cough it up once in fumbling at Oregon. And he has pass-catching ability, too. He's been one of the most impressive Niners so far in camp. Looks as though he can play right away. Corey Kiner is a former LSU recruit who went to Cincinnati and was one of the more productive backs in college football last year. He has a strong lower half. He can really churn. And then Patrick Taylor is a taller back who gives this team a lot of special teams value. Upon signing Quintez Cephas today, by the way, the Niners did release Israel Abanikanda. This tweet from Brad Graham of SF Niners on Jordan James has to get you excited. Rookie running back Jordan James has a chance to be my Jordan Mason 2.0. Vision, contact balance, twitch. Those are the things that stood out on day 1 of camp. The pads will tell us more, and they always tell us more, especially with running backs. As for Mykel Williams, 49ers first-round pick Mykel Williams looks like a dude. And to give you context for how big he is, this is him next to Nick Bosa, looking a lot bigger than Nick Bosa. That's saying something. And Mykel Williams, 2 days into training camp, has been impressing a lot of people. Looks to be the real deal. He's been running with the starters at defensive end opposite of Nick Bosa. On Wednesday, he bulldozed Dominic Purdy, who's a top 10 guard in all of football. Today, he had a would-be sack against Colton McKivitz. He's lined up at defensive tackle and at defensive end. He held up well in the run game against Trent Williams. He was looked at coming out of Georgia as one of the best edge-setting defensive players in this draft because of his ability to play, hold up well, and perform well against the run. And there was a play today where he stood over the offensive guard and then dropped back in coverage. Not impressed? How about with what Trent Williams said about Mykel Williams today? Trent Williams is one of the top offensive tackles in the history of football. He said he reminds him power-wise and size-wise of DeForest Buckner. That is high praise. And this is a great development for the 49ers. They badly needed to hit on their first-round pick. They badly need him to be impactful in 2025 because they're very thin along the defensive line. As for Upton Stout, he got some run with the ones, third-round pick out of Western Kentucky. He is 5'8" and 180 pounds sometimes on a good day. But he plays bigger than his size. He can really run, 4.4 speed, tough hands, makes plays on the football, and he provides this San Francisco secondary with sticky coverage. I think best case scenario, he starts in the slot because he's the best option there over Trey Brown. Then you have Deommodore Lenoir and Renardo Green on the outside. We also have a positive Brandon Aiyuk injury update. Noah Furtado on X putting this video out of Brandon Aiyuk running some light routes. You'll see Aiyuk right here in the all black, not playing DB, but he took off for that route there. I mean, there's a little stutter step, and he's at least doing something light. That is a positive sign for this Niners offense with BA. This photo pretty cool too. Bryant Young is a Hall of Famer, one of the best defensive tackles in the history of football. Trent Williams is a future Hall of Famer, one of the best offensive tackles in the history of the National Football League. Here they are, dapping up today at Niners training camp. There was also a video of Brandon Aiyuk doing some stretching alongside Jauan Jennings. I want everybody to caption this photo. What do you think they were talking about? BA saying, I held in last year, looking for my due deal. You're not holding in. Kind of making me look bad, Jauan. You're actually practicing, going all out, looking for that new contract. Jauan Jennings, yeah, I'm all about ball, BA. I'm not about stirring up drama. I'm kidding. But good to see Aiyuk out on the field chopping it up with his teammates, and good to see Jauan Jennings out there practicing. Hopefully that results in him getting paid. Fred Warner leading this Niners defense yet again. He too, a future Hall of Famer. Best off-ball linebacker in football, well on his way to Canton. Last year was admirable that he played so well with a broken ankle that he suffered in week 4. Prior to that, though, he was playing even better. I thought he was on his way to maybe being, or at least competing for, Defensive Player of the Year honors. And he's going to lead this Niners defense once again. He too, getting a contract extension this offseason. And he is really taking number 53, linebacker D. Winters, under his wing. D. Winters is entering a big year 3, has an opportunity to start alongside 54 in All-Pro Fred. And here's what Robert Saleh said about D. Winters today. He's got a cool chance to start. It feels like every day he's learning something through repetition. Knock on wood. Hopefully he can continue to stay healthy and absorb every single one of these reps and learn all of the nuances that is required to play linebacker. And I think if he does, he's going to be a fun player to watch. Insight there from the new Niners defensive coordinator. Don't forget to lock us in. Hit that subscribe button. I encourage you to do so because it allows you to stay in the know with all things Niners. And don't forget also to give me a follow on social media. I'm always talking Niners here on YouTube, hitting you with shows every day, multiple YouTube shorts per day as well. But I'm always talking Niners at Chase_Senior on X and Instagram.